Hey everybody, Ross here from Self-Reliant Island, and I figured that I would just give you guys a little run through on how I built my rabbit hutch, or at least this one, and possibly give you guys some tips if you're gonna build a rabbit hutch. Just a little, heads up on little things, and yeah, just a couple little tips. The first one I have here is the roof. I painted it white. And that's just a good preemptive step to take if you live in a warm climate or anything like that. If you have a dark color on there, it's going to heat up. Obviously, if you have a white light color like this, then it's going to reflect more sun and not heat up too bad. I've also just done some wooden slats along the side here with a decent little gap which creates good airflow. These pieces of wood up here aren't that thick. They're pretty thin. That's pretty much all you need. And down here, they're a bit thicker, because that's actually where a rabbit might want to start chewing on things. And so that's probably the easiest and cheapest way to build the sides to it, for sure. But for the frame, I started with 2x4s and built like an H. I put this in there and this, and you build a little H, and you do the same for the other side. Then you go in and you put your cross beams in on either side, and you have a very simple frame. Now this wire cost me almost $50 just for this, because you see it's a decent gauge. It's not too thin, which makes it more comfortable on the rabbit's feet. After doing some research, I found that regular like hardware cloth type stuff is actually illegal in England, I think, to keep your rabbits on. They've done a lot of tests, and it does wear the rabbit's feet out, and that's why most people do give their rabbits a little surface, just a little flat surface to sit on. But I figured this stuff looked pretty good, so I'd make the investment. But you want to make sure that you're going to build a hutch the same width as this wire, because it's so expensive. You don't want to take it home and start cutting it up. So that's pretty much that's what decided the size of my hutch. And it's 6 feet long and 33 inches deep. It's also 5 feet tall, so when you're standing in here, it's not awkward to do stuff. You don't get a sore back. It's a good height for kids or adults, and that's one thing to consider for sure. And see, along the back here, I did the exact same thing, just slats. Thicker down at the bottom there, bigger and wider, can't be chewed through as easily, and then a bit thinner. You see, I had a little seat here so they could jump up, and they were having fun, but they started to chew this up, these higher ones, and could replace those too. But this hutch is going to be for sale. Well, it is for sale because I'm done with raising rabbits for now. Hopefully I'll be able to come back to it sooner than later. But don't really need this, I don't need it at all, so I'm going to post it for sale. So I fixed it up a bit, replaced some wood, gave it a pressure wash, all cleaned up and nice. But oh yeah, another little tip here. There's always going to be a little, well, it depends on how you design it, I guess, but you see how there's this 2x4 at the bottom there. It would stick out a bit, and then the rabbits like to go into the corners to do their business, so you get a little buildup going on right at the edge there, just throughout the day even, right? So cut these little angular pieces of wood, and they go all the way along, all the way through the inside, even here. And it's just a perfect little slope, a little stoop for, just to direct everything over onto the wire. I also had this piece of wood down here. I had it just fastened up in there and against the back on an angle, so that you can imagine it creates a little drainage slope kind of thing. And, you know, then you can just put some regular totes underneath, and it's not such a huge area that's making a mess. But I took that off. It's a little extra weight, especially when you're moving it and transporting it around. It makes it feel a little lighter without that on there. And someone else can put a new one on if they want. But, yeah, really simple. I think that all in, it cost me $130 or so. That's you know, big portion was this wire here, and then of course you get into, well, there's these other little bits of wire. I had those laying around, but they still cost money, right? Hinges are expensive, screws are expensive. These little guys aren't cheap. These latches, a couple nice little knobs on there, and they're not too expensive, but everything adds up. So I'm not sure exactly how much I'm going to ask for this thing. I know I've seen some pretty rotten, gross Hutches for sale on Craigslist for like $300, which is just ridiculous. All right, this thing's well constructed. It's got some new wood all over, nice and fresh.